Welcome to my channel. Old valuable coins. Have you ever checked your pocket change for rare dimes? Some one-dime coins from the United States are worth a fortune today. The 1894 S. Barber dime is the king, worth over $2 million. Next, the 1916 D. Mercury dime, a small coin with a huge value, reaching thousands even in worn condition. Then comes the 1942 over 41 Mercury dime, a famous mint era highly prized by collectors. And don't forget the 1975 No. S. Roosevelt dime, a modern rarity worth big money. First up, the 1973 D. Roosevelt dime from the United States is one of the fascinating coins every collector should know about. Minted at the Denver Mint with the D mint mark, this 10-cent coin carries both numismatic and historical value. Many people overlook dimes from the 1970s, but the 1973 D dime can be worth far more than face value depending on its condition, mint eras, and rarity factors. Let's explore everything you need to know about the 1973 D one-dime coin and why collectors are searching for it today. The 1973 D Roosevelt dime was struck in copper-nickel composition, that's 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. The coin weighs about 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters. Designed by John R. Sinnott, the obverse side shows the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, while the reverse features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Over 455 million dimes were minted at the Denver Mint in 1973, so finding one in circulation isn't too rare. However, certain examples can be worth surprising amounts depending on condition and special varieties. When collectors evaluate a 1973 D dime, the first thing they look for is condition. Circulated dimes usually hold face value, but uncirculated or mint state coins graded MS65 or higher can attract strong collector interest. A 1973 D dime in pristine condition, with full torch details known as full bands or full torch, is especially desirable. These coins show strong separation lines on the torch bands and are a sign of a sharp strike. Coins with full torch details can sell for much higher prices than average examples. In mint state condition, the 1973 D Roosevelt dime typically ranges in value from $1 to $5, but high-grade specimens certified by professional grading services can bring much more. For example, MS67 and MS68 grades are rare, and collectors may pay $50 to $100 or more for these top-tier coins. Even though millions were minted, not many have survived in perfect condition due to circulation and handling over time. Now let's talk about the most interesting aspect, mint errors. Some 1973 D dimes were struck with off-center errors, double die obverse or reverse varieties, or die cracks that make them unique. A double die dime, where the lettering or date appears doubled, can be worth several $100s depending on the strength of the doubling. Off-center strikes or misaligned dies also attract error collectors. The more dramatic the error, the higher the potential value. Some rare 1973 D error dimes have sold for over $1,000 at coin auctions. Another valuable variation is when the coin has been struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a dime struck on a penny or foreign coin blank. These rare mint mistakes are highly collectible and can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on weight and metal composition. Collectors often check the weight carefully. If it differs from the standard 2.27 grams, that could indicate a rare mint error. To identify a valuable 1973 D dime, examine it closely under magnification. Look for doubling on the lettering, date, or Roosevelt's profile. Also check the rim and edge for signs of striking errors. A strong luster, no scratches, and sharp details increase the value significantly. If your coin appears uncirculated, it's worth preserving in a protective holder to maintain its condition. The history behind the Roosevelt dime adds extra meaning. Introduced in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death, this dime replaced the Mercury dime. The series has been in continuous production since then, making it one of America's longest-running coin designs. The 1973 D issue represents the mid-era of the series, before the major design and minting technology changes of the late 20th century. Collectors who specialize in Roosevelt dimes often look for a complete date and mint mark set, so a high-quality 1973 D example is an essential piece. Even though it's a common year, pristine or error coins are always in demand. Coin dealers, collectors, and enthusiasts actively trade them, especially those with brilliant uncirculated luster or unique minting features. If you want to check the potential value of your 1973 D dime, compare it to recent auction results and coin price guides. For example, certified MS67 full torch dimes have sold for over $100. Certain error examples, like broad strikes or off-center strikes, can sell from $50 to several $100 depending on eye appeal and rarity. The key is to know what makes your coin stand out. Even though most 1973D dimes are still worth 10 cents, searching through old coin rolls, pocket change, or inherited coin collections can be surprisingly rewarding. Many collectors have discovered valuable examples just by examining their spare change closely. Pay attention to mint luster, surface marks, and the sharpness of the torch details. When storing your 1973D dime, keep it in a cool, dry place, preferably in a non-PVC plastic holder or 2x2 coin flip. Avoid cleaning it, because cleaning can dramatically reduce the coin's value. Collectors prefer original surfaces, even if there are minor marks. Over the years, the Roosevelt dime has become a symbol of both history and hidden value. The 1973D edition continues that tradition, ordinary at first glance, but potentially valuable to those who know what to look for. Whether you're a beginner or a serious collector, learning about coins like the 1973D dime deepens your appreciation for US coinage and its history. Next up, the 1976D one-dime coin from the United States is one of the most discussed and searched for coins among collectors today. Many people wonder if their 1976D dime is worth more than face value, and what makes it special. In this video, we'll explore everything you need to know about the 1976D one-dime coin from the United States, its history, design, minting details, possible errors, and the value it can reach depending on its condition and rarity. Stay with me until the end because you might be holding a dime worth much more than you think. The 1976D dime was struck at the Denver Mint, represented by the letter D under the date on the coin. This coin is part of the Roosevelt dime series, which has been in circulation since 1946. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features a portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinnock. The word Liberty appears to the left, with In God We Trust and the mint mark D just above the date 1976. On the reverse, you'll find a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing peace and strength. The words United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and one dime are inscribed around it. The 1976D Roosevelt dime is made of a copper-nickel composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a total weight of 2.27 grams and a diameter of 17.9 millimeters. Unlike earlier silver dimes minted before 1965, this one does not contain any silver. Still, the 1976D dime can hold significant value depending on its condition, strike, and possible minting errors. When it comes to mintage, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of 1976D dimes, making regular circulation examples common. However, not all dimes are the same. Some coins have unique mint errors, high grades, or rare features that can make them valuable. Collectors especially look for dimes that have full bands on the torch, sharp details, and no signs of wear or damage. Error coins from 1976 can be extremely valuable. For example, off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or missing mint marks can make a 1976D dime worth much more than face value. A well-documented double die error, where the date or lettering appears doubled, can attract serious attention from collectors. Similarly, dimes with planchet errors or struck on the wrong metal can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. If you have a 1976D dime, carefully inspect it under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look closely at the date, mint mark, and lettering for any doubling or irregularities. Also, check the rim for any unusual shapes, thickness, or clipped edges. Even a small error can add a lot of value to your coin. In uncirculated condition, the 1976D dime can also bring higher prices. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading standards can be worth several dollars, while examples with exceptional luster or full torch details can fetch even more. A perfectly preserved 1976D dime with full bands, mirror-like surfaces, and sharp details can attract strong interest among Roosevelt dime collectors. Proof versions of 1976 dimes were struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark, but not in Denver. However, sometimes proof dies or planchets get mixed in during minting, creating rare transitional or wrong planchet errors. If you ever find a 1976D dime that looks unusually shiny, reflective, or slightly different in color, it may be worth getting evaluated because it could be a special strike. Let's talk about what makes the 1976D dime collectible. Even though it's not a silver coin, it's part of a historical period in U.S. coinage. 1976 was the year of the American bicentennial celebration, and while quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins received special bicentennial designs, the dime retained its traditional Roosevelt design. That makes the 1976D dime unique in its own way, a coin from a historic year that maintained the classic design unchanged. Collectors often seek to complete Roosevelt dime sets, and having a high-quality 1976D dime in mint state can complete that collection beautifully. The condition of your dime is everything. Coins that have been well preserved, stored in coin holders, and protected from scratches or dirt can be worth several times more than circulated ones. If you have multiple 1976D dimes, compare them carefully. Look for differences in strike quality, luster, and small variations. You may notice some have stronger designs or cleaner details. These small distinctions can make one dime more desirable to collectors. Some collectors have even reported finding 1976D dimes with unusual color tones, such as rainbow toning or dark spots, caused by the metal's reaction over time. While some discoloration might reduce value, naturally toned coins with eye-catching colors can sometimes be sold for a premium. Always remember that rarity, condition, and demand determine a coin's true value. Even a common 1976D dime in your pocket change can surprise you if it happens to be a rare variety or mint error. Many people have found valuable dimes by simply checking their change carefully. To preserve the value of your 1976D dime, avoid cleaning it. Cleaning coins can scratch the surface and reduce their value drastically. Instead, store your dime in a soft holder or protective coin flip and keep it away from moisture or air exposure. When evaluating your dime, pay attention to the mint luster and surface marks. A bright, smooth, original surface is ideal. Coins with scratches, dents, or heavy wear are generally worth only face value, but even a lightly circulated dime might still have a small premium if it shows strong details and the D mint mark is clear. In today's coin market, collectors continue to search for special 1976D dimes, especially those in top mint condition or with rare varieties. Some have sold online for impressive amounts depending on grade and uniqueness. If you find one in a coin roll, an old jar, or pocket change, don't overlook it. Next up, where we talk about one of the most interesting coins from the United States Mint, the 1978D Roosevelt dime. If you have a dime from 1978 with the small letter D just under the date, stay tuned because this coin could be much more interesting than it looks. In this video, we'll talk about the history, design, metal composition, minting details, and the surprising collector value of the 1978D dime. We'll also discuss the rare errors and varieties that can make this coin worth way more than 10 cents. So, keep listening carefully because even a common coin in your pocket change could turn out to be something special. The 1978D Roosevelt dime was minted at the Denver Mint, represented by the D mint mark on the obverse side of the coin, just near the date. In 1978, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these dimes, yet not all of them are the same. Some pieces have special characteristics that collectors are always searching for. The Denver Mint struck about 313 million Roosevelt dimes that year, which may sound like a huge number, but over the decades, many have been lost, damaged, or worn out, making well-preserved examples more desirable for collectors today. The Roosevelt dime design honors the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, who inspired the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. The obverse of the coin shows the portrait of President Roosevelt facing left, designed by John R. Sinnock. Below his neck, you can see Sinnock's initials, JS. The reverse features a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, with an olive branch on one side representing peace and an oak branch on the other representing strength and independence. The motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one, is written just below the torch. This design has been used since 1946 and remains one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The 1978D dime is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, with a pure copper core. It weighs 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.9 millimeters. It does not contain any silver, but its historical value and collector interest make it a coin worth learning about. The edge of the coin is reeded, which helps prevent counterfeiting and gives it that distinctive dime feel. Now let's talk about the real reason why coin collectors pay attention to the 1978D Roosevelt dime, its condition, mint errors, and rarity. Even though it was mass-produced, coins in mint state or uncirculated condition are always more valuable. If you have a 1978D dime with sharp details, bright luster, and no signs of wear, it can be worth more than its face value. Collectors look for coins graded from MS60 to MS67 or higher, and those with full torch bands, known as full bands or full torch details, can command premium prices because they show perfect striking quality. Some 1978D dimes also have rare mint errors. These include off-center strikes, broad strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and coins struck on the wrong metal planchette. For example, an off-center dime where part of the design is missing could easily sell for several dollars or even more, depending on how dramatic the error is. A double die error, where parts of the lettering or the date appear doubled, can attract strong interest from collectors. These types of errors are what make some 1978D dimes unique and far more valuable than others. It's also worth paying attention to the color and tone of your coin. Some older dimes develop attractive natural toning over time, rainbow-like shades or golden hues, and collectors often pay more for these naturally toned coins if the color is appealing and even across the surface. Now, let's talk about the coin's market value. Most circulated 1978D dimes are still worth around 10 cents, but uncirculated examples can be worth $1 or $2, sometimes more. In high mint state grades, especially MS66 or MS67, prices can jump significantly. For instance, pristine 1978D dimes with perfect luster and full torch details have been known to sell for tens or even hundreds of dollars when collectors are competing for the best examples. Remember, coin values also change over time depending on demand, rarity, and condition. So even if your 1978D dime looks common, it's always good to check its details under good lighting or with a magnifier. Small things like sharp details, clean surfaces, or clear full bands can make a huge difference. If you find a dime with unusual features, it could be an error coin worth researching further. Another interesting fact is that the Denver Mint in 1978 used advanced minting techniques compared to earlier decades, so the strike quality is generally good. However, minor variations still occurred. That's why many collectors carefully study small differences in lettering, date spacing, or torch lines to identify possible varieties. These details make coin collecting both challenging and exciting, especially when you discover a coin that others may have overlooked. If you have rolls of old coins or jars filled with pocket change, make sure to look closely at every dime from 1978. Focus on the D mint mark and examine it carefully for any doubling, misplaced marks, or strange shapes. Errors involving the mint mark are rare but can be worth significantly more than regular coins. Always handle your coins gently, ideally with cotton gloves, to avoid adding new scratches or fingerprints that could reduce their collector value. Collectors also pay attention to die varieties, small differences caused by the minting process. Sometimes, a tiny change in the die design, like thicker or thinner lettering, can create an identifiable variety that becomes highly collectible. Even if the difference seems small, dedicated collectors appreciate these subtle variations because they tell a story about the minting process and history of that specific year. The 1978D Roosevelt dime may not contain silver like older pre-1965 dimes, but it remains an important part of American coinage history. It reflects the transition to modern clad coinage and the continuation of the Roosevelt legacy. Every coin, even a simple dime, connects us to the nation's history, the minting technology of the time, and the people who used it in everyday life. So, if you come across a 1978D dime in great shape or with a rare mint error, don't overlook it. Coins like this can be hidden treasures, waiting to be discovered in your change, in an old drawer, or among inherited coins. Always check the condition, look for errors, and keep learning about coin grading and collecting terms. The more you know, the better your chances of spotting valuable coins others miss. Now we will explore the 1987D dime from the United States is one of those fascinating small coins that carries big stories. This dime, minted in Denver in 1987, is part of the long-running Roosevelt dime series, a coin loved by collectors and admired by anyone who appreciates American coinage history. Today we're going to explore everything about the 1987D dime, its design, composition, history, mintage, errors, and collector value. So stay tuned till the end, because every small detail could make your coin worth far more than 10 cents. The Roosevelt dime has been produced by the United States Mint since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who inspired the March of Dimes movement to fight polio. The 1987D dime continues that legacy, carrying the familiar portrait of Roosevelt designed by John R. Sinnock. On the obverse side, we see Roosevelt facing left, with the word Liberty along the rim, the motto In God We Trust, and the mint mark D placed just above the date. That small d represents the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these coins. The reverse of the 1987D dime features a torch in the center symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength and independence. Around the top edge, you'll find the words United States of America, and at the bottom, one dime. The phrase E pluribus unum reminds us of the country's unity through diversity. Every detail in the design of the dime reflects the ideals of the nation and the values Roosevelt represented. In 1987, the Denver Mint produced over 754 million Roosevelt dimes. That's a huge number, so most 1987 D dimes are considered common in circulation. However, what makes a 1987 D dime special to collectors are its condition, rarity in high grades, and certain error varieties that can significantly raise its value. Let's talk about the composition first. The 1987 D dime is a clad coin, made from a copper-nickel alloy. The outer layers are 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. This gives the coin a silvery appearance while keeping it durable for circulation. Each dime weighs 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters with a reeded edge. These specifications have been consistent for US dimes since 1965, when the mint switched from silver to clad coins. Now, let's discuss condition and grading. Circulated 1987 D dimes usually have little collector premium, but uncirculated examples, especially those graded mint state 65 or higher, can command more value. Collectors often look for coins that have a bright, lustrous finish and minimal contact marks. A perfectly preserved 1987 D dime graded MS67 or MS68 by professional grading services can be worth several dollars, sometimes even more to collectors building high-quality Roosevelt dime sets. One of the exciting parts of coin collecting is error hunting. Some 1987 D dimes have striking errors or die varieties that make them stand out. You might find off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned dies that give the coin a unique appearance. Even minor minting errors can make a coin much more desirable to collectors. For example, a double die obverse with doubling visible on the date or lettering can turn a regular dime into a small treasure. Another type of collectible variety is the full bands designation, referring to the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side. If these lines are sharply struck and fully separated, the coin may qualify as a full bands dime, which collectors prize because it indicates an exceptional strike quality. Coins with this level of detail are far scarcer and can fetch higher prices. Although the 1987 D dime is not a silver coin, it still holds numismatic value due to its place in US coinage history. Silver dimes ended in 1964, so all dimes from 1965 onwards, including the 1987 D, are made of clad composition. However, proof dimes made in San Francisco during 1987 contain no silver either, but their mirror-like surfaces attract collectors who enjoy collecting proof sets. If you have a 1987 D dime in your pocket or coin jar, it's worth examining it carefully. Look for any minting errors, full bands, or unusually sharp details. Even a small difference can mean the coin is more valuable than face value. While circulated examples are typically worth 10 cents, uncirculated or error coins can range from $1 to several dozen dollars depending on condition and rarity. Collectors often appreciate the 1987 D dime as part of completing their Roosevelt dime series collection. Having each year and mint mark is a goal for many numismatists. Since the Denver Mint is one of the three main mints producing circulation coins in 1987, alongside Philadelphia and San Francisco, the D mint mark helps complete a full year set. Now, if we talk about investment potential, Roosevelt dimes like the 1987 D are an affordable way to start collecting. They're small, easy to store, and still available in circulation. It's a perfect entry coin for new collectors. Some people even collect them by roll, searching for uncirculated examples straight from bank rolls or mint sets. Over the years, collectors have noticed that high-grade clad dimes from the 1980s are harder to find than expected. That's because many were heavily used in circulation, making pristine examples scarce. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance could actually be a gem if it retains full luster and sharp details. Another interesting thing about the 1987 D dime is its place in American culture. The Roosevelt dime has been part of everyday life for nearly 8 decades. When you hold a 1987 dime, you're holding a piece of that long history, a coin that has passed through countless hands, representing everyday commerce and American resilience. If you're a coin collector or just getting into coin hunting, the 1987 D dime is a great coin to study. Learn to identify mint marks, understand how condition affects value, and recognize unique die characteristics. Knowledge is the most valuable tool in coin collecting, and the more you study your coins, the easier it becomes to spot something special. Many coin enthusiasts also enjoy finding dimes from the 1980s because they represent the transition from older minting technology to more modern precision methods. Yet, even with improved technology, mint errors still occur, making each error coin a tiny time capsule from the production floor of the Denver Mint. Remember, when examining your 1987 D dime, use a good magnifying glass or coin loupe. Check the edges, look at the lettering, inspect the torch lines, and observe the surface luster. Coins with full strike and clean surfaces are always in demand. While most 1987D dimes may not make you rich, they are important educational tools for collectors learning about mint marks, die varieties, and coin grading. Even a small collection of these coins can tell a fascinating story about American minting and everyday money. So, the next time you come across a 1987D dime, don't just spend it. Take a moment to appreciate the history behind it, a history of Franklin D. Roosevelt, of the Denver Mint, of mid-1980s America, and of the craftsmanship that goes into every US coin. Whether you collect for fun, for investment, or simply out of curiosity, each dime connects you to a larger story of American numismatics.